Have you ever wanted to know how to create a side menu in Unity? It's not that complicated, conceptually speaking, but you need to be able to use several components to do it. We're gonna create quite a complex side menu today. I'm gonna show you what's the thought process behind this particular complex component, and I'm gonna show you some different tips and tricks in Unity and with Doozy UI how to customize and how to make the experience uh, better for you. All right, let's get started. Okay, this is a new scene. I'm gonna create it right now just to make sure. And before we get started, what is a side menu? Well, it's a rect transform, so basically a container that moves in and out of view. You can either show and hide it from code. You should be able to do that from the graph. And you may also want to have, you might most definitely want to have a button that shows and hides it. So you have to respect a lot of, I don't know, rules, unwritten rules to have a good side menu, one that you can work with. So let's start by creating a simple rect transform, right? So I'm gonna create first a canvas because we need one. And before we continue, let's just enable the new input system so we don't have any errors when we enter runtime. And for the canvas, we can leave screen space overlay for the render mode. I'm going to use screen space camera. It really doesn't matter. You can have any type of camera you want, any type of render mode you want. And what else do we want? Well, the canvas scaler, I'm going to say scale with screen size so it adjusts, but I'm going to leave this small resolution. If this were a real project, I'd go 1920 by 1080 and I'll go with 50% here. But the items, for example, for this video, you would see everything very small, the text and the buttons. So I'm going to say 800 by 600. This is just for the video for this canvas scaler setting. All right. So game view, let's go with full HD. Perfect. And the gizmos should be invisible. I do not need them. All right. So let's add a background to our canvas because right now I only see the camera. I can also change the camera to solid color, but let's just add a image here. This will be my background for my canvas. All right. So let's make it like so. Let's say 16, 16, 16. So it's not completely black. All right. What else did we say? Well, I said that a side menu is basically a rect transform. It's a container. So this is my side menu, right? I'm gonna put it on the left side of the screen and increase its width to 40. And to be able to see it, let's also add a a background to it. So image, and this will be my side menu background. And let's say with the transparency, something like that. All right, maybe even 96. Yeah. Okay, so this is my side menu. What should this menu? What should this rect transform do? Well, it should be able to move, right? So I should let's move this in here. So I should be able to move it out of the view when it's closed and into the view when it's opened. Another way to say it is I want the container to show and hide. That's it. So I said that I want to be able to call this show and hide from code. And I also said that I want to be able to use a button and to be called from the graph. So instead of using a UI container, I'm going to use a UI view that has a category and the name, right? So I'm going to add here, add component, UI view. Okay. So once this has been added, I want to add an animation because right now, if I show and hide, sorry, this will disable the canvas and the graphic raycaster. So you can see here what's happening. So hide, show. Sure, it works. It hides and it shows, but this isn't what we want to do, right? So right now I want to add an animation to this. So I'm going to say add component. And actually, yeah, add component, UI container, UI animator. Where is it? This is it. Let's reset this. So right now, this is how it shows and it hides. It hides to the wrong side. So I'm gonna go to hide, move, and move to the left. So hide, show. And let's enter play mode, and you'll see that now we have a proper way of using the menu, right? It works. What else do we need? Well, we need a button to show and hide, because like I said before, we need a way to show and hide it via a button, right? This time I'm gonna use a pre-made button from the UI menu, so I don't have to build a button because this would take longer. And this video are live. Basically, there are no cuts. So yeah. So now I have this button, and in order for this button to trigger this, and because I know that the button will be attached to this menu, so it will move with the menu, I'm gonna use behaviors on pointer click. So when this button is clicked, let's add the behavior. I'm gonna reference this side menu right here, and I'll say UI view toggle. What does toggle mean? Well, it means that it will hide if it's shown, and it will show if it's hidden, right? And one more thing, I'm using Unity 2022, and I've noticed that the Unity events are turned off by default. I don't know why, and you should have them at least set to runtime only in order for them to work. Just bear in mind about this. Let's enter play mode, and now I can show and hide this view from the button. All right. What else does the side menu have? Well, if you remember, this particular button needs to be visible, needs to be on the menu and get out of the menu when it is hidden. So notice here that I should have here a button for the menu, not in the center of the screen, of course. So we need the container to move out of the way. Let me just show you because I'm talking too much. So I'm gonna add here a empty container. This will be open close button container. I'm gonna make it as big as this button. So this is 48. This will be 48. Okay. Let's just move the scene here. And let's add a background to it so we are able to see what is happening. We need to animate it, by the way. All right. And I'm gonna anchor it right here. And I'm gonna also give it some breathing space. So -8 and -8. There you go. Now we have a problem because if I were to put this button here, when the menu is closed, I can no longer access it. So I need a way to move this container out of the way here. So it should be here when the menu is closed. How would I do that? That's very easy, actually. I'm going to use a UI container, UI animator. I'm going to use this view to control this animation. All right. So add UI container, UI animator. The controller will be this view. All right. And now I have a hide and a show. Now the show is from the wrong side. So I'm going to say move from the right side, hide and show. And now notice here, actually not, I'm going to zoom here. When I say hide, it's right, the button is right on the side of the screen. And I really don't like that. It's not a pleasant user experience. So I'm going to move it a bit further away. Yeah. So I'm going to come to the hide and say here, give me an offset. So go a bit more. So when I hide now, it's here. So show, this is the show position. This is the hide position, right? And believe it or not, this already works because the controller is here, the settings are done. So now we also have another issue, by the way. It's gonna move, but it disappears. Why is that happening? Well, because we're disabling this canvas component and graphic raycaster from the UI menu, and we shouldn't do that for this particular case. So in order to fix this, I'm gonna say do not disable the canvas nor the graphic raycaster nor the game object for that matter. And now it should work. Check it out. Now I have this. Now I'll give you one more piece of advice. If the animations happen at the same time, you're not capturing the user's eyes, because in advertising and design and UI design, you need to know where the eyes of your users go every time. In this case, of course, they will go on this red dot because it's the heaviest element besides the white button on your screen. But another way to do it is to sequence your animations. What do I mean by that? Well, just add some delays to it, right? So here I'm going to say a 0.2 delay. And for the height, again, I'm going to say a 0.2 delay. Just by adding these delays, you'll have a more pleasant animation, a more pleasant experience for the user because you are able to control his or her eyes. All right, so check it out. There you go. It's just nicer, okay? So now that I know that this container is working as I want it to work, I'm gonna remove that red background and move the image inside of it. So I'm gonna move the button, all right? So let's move the button here. I'm gonna say 0, 0, right? And let's enter play mode and check it out. Now, I want to do one more crazy thing. I want to rotate this button the other way around so that the arrow is pointing to the right side. When, am I showing right? Yeah, to the right side. It's reversed in the screen. All right, so that it tells the user that something will come from the left side. How can I do that? Well, actually, let's just create a demo. I'm just creating some button names. Side menu. And let's also add some button A and button B, just to be okay. And this will be my demo side menu, and let's rename it. All right. So like I said, I want to rotate this button when it's shown or hidden. How can I do that? Again, I'm going to use a UI container, UI animator, and just rotate it as I need it. So add component, UI container, UI animator. Instead of a movement, I'm going to say rotation. So when it's hidden, I'm saying minus 180. Again, I'm going to use a 2-second delay to 0. And when it's hidden, I know I'm moving quite fast. If you want to get the settings and follow along, just pause the video. There are a lot of things to do, and if I were to stay and stop at every single thing, this video will take quite a lot of time, minus 180. Right. So what does this animation do? Well, height, show. Check it out. And just by doing that, now let's enter let's enter play mode and check it out. So as you can see, the button, yeah, there you go. Okay, I'm also going to show you how to add some buttons to this menu, how to show and hide some views, and maybe we're going to even do a responsive layout and show you how that is done. These are even more advanced tips and tricks. I don't know how to call them. So let's also create some views in our database. So demo, this will be my side menu. And let's say view A and view B. And this is my side menu. Let's rename it. Yeah. Okay. What do we need now? Well, we need some views, actually. Actually, no, let's start with the buttons. So inside this side menu, I have a background. Let's move this in here. Yeah, I have a background and I have an open close button container, right? And they're all animated. I didn't write a single line of code. They're synchronized, so they will work, right? So now I'm gonna make a scroll view for this. Again, using a native component. And this will be my buttons container. Button scroll view, right? I do not care for the scroll bars. Let's not use them. And the viewport button should have 0. And let's make this scroll view as big as our menu. Let's add something to the top. Right, let's say 64. Does this look right? Yep. Now I really don't need this graphic, so I'm gonna remove it. So let's remove this. Remove the canvas render. 0, 0, 0. Right? I do not want to scroll on the horizontal, only the vertical. I do not care about the scroll bars. And this is what we have right now. Right? This is my viewport. Instead of using this UI mask, I'm going to use a rect mask 2D because it's faster. And just remove this, this, and this. All right? What's this? Unity issue. Okay. And I'm only using Unity default components, so those errors shouldn't appear. So the content will be buttons stacked one on top of each other. So we have a horizontal layout. And in order for this to be scrollable, the content should adjust its size depending on its children. All right. So what does that mean in terms? So we need a vertical layout group that will force child expand on the width, so make it as wide as my menu, right? I want to control the child size and the height, but I do not want to expand on the height. I don't care about that, right? And in order for this to grow as its contents grows, or to shrink as its content shrinks, we need to add a component called content size fitter. And again, horizontal fit should be unconstrained because this group stretches all the elements, and vertical fit should be preferred size. So it is as big as its contents. Now the height is set to 0 because it doesn't contain anything, basically, right? So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to add a button. So I'm just going to add one from here, so we're moving fast. Give me a flex button. Yeah, that's good. Now, this flex button also has some other components, and these components prevent it from being as big, as wide as this menu. And we're gonna change them a bit. So, first of all, I do not care for the icon container. I do not need it. Now, I want the horizontal fit to be unconstrained, so this will make this as wide as the what you call it, as the side menu, right? So I want it like that. And now the label should allow for preferred size. Let's move it on the left. And what else do we have here? Flex button. Let's just force this expand. Where's the label? Do we need this? Horizontal fit, unconstrained. There you go. Vertical fit, preferred size. Yep, this is it. Okay, so now let's see what padding we have here. 12, 4, 4, 4, 8. Perfect. And yeah, this is my first button. Now I do not want to be to have it right there, so I'm gonna add here some padding. Left 16, right 16, and top 16, bottom 16, and spacing 16, just so it's easier to work with. And I'm even gonna make the button higher. So I'm gonna say preferred height. Let's go to 40, maybe 48. Yeah, just so it's nicer. Perfect. Now I like it. Okay, so this is my button. Let's make it 20, 24. Yeah, leave it like that. So this one will be option A, right? This is what this button does. And I'm gonna say, let's minimize this. It's very useless. And demo button A. Let's create one more. And this will be my button B for my two views. It can be profile, settings, inventory system, levels, whatever you want to show. And let's also change the label to option B. All right. So now we have this particular system. Of course, if I add more buttons, I can also scroll through them if I need to, but you shouldn't have to do that, by the way. So if you need to do that, you need to add your vertical scroll bar and so on. It's a bit more complex. Right. So now I have my buttons. I have my side menu. Now I need to create some views, if Unity will let me. Thank you. So I need a container for my views. So create empty views. Let's make it as big, not in the side menu, but here. And let's make it as big as our canvas. And I'm just gonna add a default view so I don't have to build it. Like I said, they can be anything. UI menu, and give me containers, view basic, view perfect. So this will be my demo A, my A view. Let's also change this. So let's move the title out. Let's say 256. Let's make it bigger. And let's say A. So this is view A. 96. There you go. So now I have a view A that is set to instant hide and has a show and hide animation. Let's create one more. So I'm going to move this here. Let's create the B. All right. So this is view B. And I'm going to say this B. So I'm able to identify them, right? Okay. So now I have view A, view B. There's no logic that connects the button to the views. So I need to create a graph and then a graph controller to enable everything, and everything will be connected and will work, right? Whew. So let's save this scene. I'm gonna say side menu demo, right? And let's create a flow graph, and this will be side menu demo graph. There you go. Let's open it. And I'm going to use some portal nodes so I do not have to connect all the things everywhere. So I'm going to press space, portal, portal, click. So I need 3 portal nodes. And I need 3, no, 2. I have an A and B. And 2 UI nodes to show and hide the views. So UI, there you go. All right. So the first portal node will listen when a UI button is clicked, demo A. So when this button is clicked, I want to go to this UI node. This will be option A, right? And here I want to say, I want to see view A when I enter this node. And when I leave this node, I want to hide demo A. That's it. And when the graph starts, I want to start with option A enabled. There you go. Now, so this will be portal, let's say portal A and portal B, right? So for portal B, I'm going to say UI button demo B. So when the button with the category demo and the button name B is clicked, I want to go to the, I want to see the view demo B, right? So here I'm going to say option B. This is just the node name, basically. I'm just naming the nodes so it's easier to understand what's happening inside of them. And here I'm going to say demo B. So I want to, when I enter this node, I want to call hide on all the UI views that have the category demo and the view name B, right? It's the same as the button names, but they're different databases. All right. And that's it for the connections. If you want to add more options, you just add one portal, one option, one portal, one option, and they will jump from one another, right? So now, of course, it doesn't work because we didn't add a flow graph. So node flow controller, and let's drag and drop this demo graph, and done. Let's enter play mode, and now you will see option A appear and option B. I don't know why this looks like this. Am I missing something? Oh, no, I'm not. All right. Yeah, it's the same color. That's why. Let's just change the background a bit. Yeah. All right. This threw me off a bit because of the color. So let's enter play mode. Perfect. Option B, option A. All right. Now, let me show you some more advanced stuff. Let's say I want to have an indicator to see what option is enabled. How would I do that? Well, that's very easy, actually. Again, you do not need to write any code. So let's go to our side menu buttons. All right, and let's just play with this button. Let's say I want to add an indicator here, or maybe underscore under the button. But let's add a bump here, and so I know which view is open, right? So I'm gonna create an image. I'm not doing anything fancy. I'm gonna call it indicator, and let's also color it with this color. And you'll notice that it is invisible because this button has a horizontal layout group that controls all the elements. And I really do not want to have this indicator controlled by that. So I'm going to use a, what's called layout element. I forgot layout. Yeah, a layout element. And I'm going to click ignore layout. Just leave me alone. Don't do anything. And I'm going to say this to be 16 by 16. All right, now I have a size. I'm going to anchor it on the right side, -8, something like that. All right, so now this is my indicator. So how can I show and hide this indicator depending if the view is visible or not? Well, that's very easy. I'm going to say that this indicator is a UI container because it needs to show and hide. And again, I'm going to use two listeners for when a UI view is shown and for when a UI view is hidden. Let me show you. It's really easy. So I'm going to say here a UI container. So this is a UI container, right? And I'm going to say, let's just not disable this, and instant hide. Let's add some animation. So UI container, UI animator, and let's scale it out. Yeah. So instead of move, I'm gonna say scale from custom value 0, 0, and scale to custom value 0, 0. Okay. So now I have a show and a hide. All right. Perfect. I really don't like. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it like that. Okay. So now all I need is two listeners. So I'm going to say UI view listener. When the view called in the category demo called A is shown, I want to show this UI container. Again, remember to set the event to runtime or editor and runtime, otherwise it won't work. And I need another UI view listener for when this view is hidden, and I'll say here hide. So when we call hide for this view, again, I want to say UI container hide and enable this. And believe it or not, that's it. So basically we have two listeners and a UI container that calls show and hide for this, and all the animations you may want. Let's enter play mode and let's see this work. There you go. Yeah. I think I did a mistake somewhere. Let's check it out. Yeah, this is it. This should be A. Yeah, my bad. Okay, UI container, and also you should say get component. No. Get. Yeah, -16. All right. Perfect. So now this works. Let's also add one for the B. So I'm just going to copy this indicator. All right. Let's go to B. Paste as a child. -16, 0. And here I'm going to change to B and B. And that's it. Let's enter play mode. So now I have option A, option B. There you go. And they're synchronized. Now, you may want to do something else. Let's say here, I have an issue with this. You may want to, if you notice the side menu is over your view. What if you want to push the view? And when the side menu goes out, the view expands again. How would you do that? So this is, again, I'm going from simple to more and more complex and showing you how this is done, right? So how would you do that? Well, you need to split your screen and use a horizontal layout group, and then just add some extra animations. And I'm going to show you how that is done, right? We also going to have some issues along the way, and I'm going to show you how to fix them, right? So for this example, I'm going to create, let's say, content, right? So I'm going to make this as big as the screen. And here I need one game object, and this will be my side menu. And I need one more, create empty, and this will be my views container. And I want to say side menu container. There you go. So now we have these, right? Let's also add some images, some background to them, so we are able to identify them. I'm doing it this way so I can explain to you how they work, right? So let's make this big. Let's say, give me a color. This one, and I need one more. So UI image, again, let's make it big. Give me another color, this one. All right. So basically I have two things. I have a side menu, which is the green one, and actually let's make it this color. Yeah. So the blue one is the side menu, and the orange one is my views container, right? So I said that I need a horizontal layout group because they're one after another. So horizontal, and I want to control channel size, width, and height. Okay. And now I want to split them up. So I'm going to add here a layout element, and here I'm going to say preferred width 240, flexible width 0, flexible height 1, right? And here I'm going to say layout element, again with flexible width and height. And where is it? I'm going to disable child force expand, right? And now this is my layout. So basically on the left is my menu, on the right is my view. If I were to use this, and now I'm gonna start using it. So I'm gonna get the side menu and I'm gonna put it here, and then I'm gonna get the views. I'm gonna delete this. And now I need to add my settings just like I did before. Preferred width to 40, flexible width 0, flexible height 1. And for the views, I'm gonna say layout element, flexible width, flexible height. There you go. So this is how this works. So now, if we enter play mode, notice how, oh, one more thing. You'll notice that the view comes over the menu. How can we fix that? Well, that's very easy. I'm gonna change their position, like so, in the hierarchy, and in the horizontal layout group, I'm gonna say reverse alignment, arrangement, sorry. So now the menu is, the views are drawn before the menu is drawn, so it's on top. Let me show you. These are small things that you will be learning along the way. Now, if I say hide this, it doesn't change. So basically this is an empty space and looks bad, right? So how can I change that? Well, if you remember, the side menu has this preferred width of 240. So if I were to animate this value, you can even see them here, they will adjust, right? So how can I do that? Well, and we will have another issue, but I'm going to show you how you solve it in a minute. So add a UI container float animator, because this is a float value. And we're going to use reflection for that. And I'm going to drag and drop this here. And I want to target this value. So link, layout element, preferred width. And what do I say? Well, when I'm showing it, I want to show from custom value 0 to start value. And the start value is 240, right, in 0.3. And when I hide it, I want to start from the start value to custom value, which is 0 in 0.3, right? So this is the animation that I've just created. Basically, I'm animating that particular, this value, right? But you've noticed that there are some issues here. The buttons really don't look that well. And in order to fix that, we will set the buttons to have a minimum width, and this minimum width will be 208, right? So minimum width 208 and minimum width 208. And now when we are hiding this, you'll notice that they disappear, right? And now let's see it all work together and so on. So this is your menu, right? And check it out. And this is it. This is a, I want to say simple, but it's really not a simple side menu with all the bells and whistles, and you can adjust it as you want. Let's say when I select an option, I want to hide the menu, because I told you that I may want to hide the UI menu, the side menu from code or from the graph. So when I select an option, I also want to close the menu. How would I do that? Again, no code. Yeah. So I'm going to open the graph. And if you remember, the view is called, where's the view name? It's called demo side menu, right? So whenever I enter an option, I want to say hide demo side menu. There you go. And I'm going to do the same thing here. So when I enter this view, I'm going to say hide demo side menu. That's it. Done. And everything will be animated nicely. There you go. Option B, option A, and notice how it is pushed. Yeah, and you can even see the size of it. So the width is 683, and check it out, it adjusts. I hope you noticed I haven't written a single line of code to create this. And all you have to do is change your graphics, add your proper names, and just hook up whatever things you may need here in these containers, because the idea of a management system is to manage. So it helps you show whatever you want to show, but you're responsible of your design and what you put inside of it. And now I'm going to do one more thing. Let's add the third option when we have this system ready to go. How would that work? Well, it's really very easy to extend the system. So I'm going to create one more button. Let's open the database and let's say button C. Yeah, this will be my option C. C, rename. Okay, let's say indicator, not indicator, label. Option C. Okay. I also need another view. So I'm going to say, where are my views? Where are my views at? So this will be my view C. Let's add it. Okay. And let's say C. And if you remember, we have an indicator on the button. So we're going to say C and C. All right. And now we have the button, the view, done. Now all I need to do is add a portal, a UI node, and done, complete, right? So let's go here. And I'm going to say portal. And this will be my portal C. That is triggered by a UI button called demo C and a UI node. There you go. And this will be my option. Just so you see, sorry for my option C. And here again, I'm going to show demo C. I'm going to hide the menu because we established that this is what we're doing now. And also I'm going to hide the views when I leave this node demo C. That's it, done. So now I have one more option. So I have option C, option B, and option A. Yeah? And it animates. I don't know why Unity is doing that, but that's pretty much how it works. And yeah, I don't know what happened. Yeah, let's enter play mode. Yeah, weird. Actually, let's maximize this. I want to see it full screen. Maximize, not now. Where is it? Maximized. All right, so this is how this would look. Yeah. And that's pretty much it for the side menu. I hope I was clear enough. I know it's not a simple thing to create, mostly because you may want to do it one way or another. I don't know. It really depends on what project you're building and what platform you're targeting. You may want to use navigation if you're using a controller and so on. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Thank you so much. If you liked it, subscribe. I'm going to start creating a lot of content like this for more advanced use cases. So yeah, see you in the next video.